So the final area that I wanted to talk about is guilt. As women, we can pretty much feel guilty for almost any and everything. And when it comes to food, it is really easy to feel guilty. And guilty eating in and of itself is an emotional eating habit. But I think a lot of the problem with guilt is what I consider to be a really disastrous negative spiral. Now, how many of you at the beginning of the year, I mean, we're just coming off of January, had some type of eating improvement that they were going to do, whether it was a new diet plan or something? I mean, I did too, and that's great. Unfortunately, most people only make it through about 2 weeks, and then they start going back to their old habits. And I think a lot of that has to do with this negative spiral that occurs. So let's say that your eating habit improvement was going to be to really try to cut back on sugar. You know, get rid of sodas, not eating dessert all the time, you know, just taking out refined sugar foods. And so you're doing great, you know, you're going along, and then you get invited to a birthday party and you decide to have a piece of cake. And it was good cake, but then you really feel bad about it. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that cake. And so then you get up the next morning, you're still thinking about the piece of cake, and you're like, well, you know, I already blew it. I can't do it. I feel so guilty about it. I just, obviously this is too hard. So, I'm just going to make some bacon and eggs and some pancakes with a whole bunch of syrup on it too. And then, so then you eat that, and now you're guilty about the breakfast, and you're still thinking about the piece of cake. And you're like, well, it just doesn't matter. I failed at it. I'm just going to go get a burrito from the place around the corner. And then you order pizza for dinner, and what the heck, you might as well have a couple of beers with it. All of that because of a piece of cake. So, and that's where it happens, is you get it in your head, oh, I can't do it, I failed. And so the one thing that I would like you to think and or write down is clean slate. Every meal, every day is a clean slate for you to start over. Just because you didn't have your smoothie or whatever, if you didn't have that available, you can still choose something that is going to be healthy. Maybe it's an egg white omelet. So don't think about your piece of cake. Think about a clean slate of what am I going to do to nourish my body? How am I going to eat for energy? Because our food is energy. You can't have energy without a calorie. So taking a handful of vitamins is not going to give you energy. But nourishing your body with good, wholesome foods that are less processed is what's going to give you energy. So just to recap, we've got your task is to clean your freezer. The time tips are going to be to eat every 4 to 6 hours. Remember the 20-minute rule. And also using the hunger scale. On a scale of 1 to 5, how hungry am I? Now, the dietitian is talking about food right before lunch, so probably all of us are right around a 4, which is where we should be. And like I said, that is really one of my favorite, and if any of you use that as a takeaway and find that it's helpful for you, I'd love to hear from you. Grab my business card at the table that I have, and I would love to just get a quick email if that's one of the tips that you actually found helpful. And then the final thought is, with guilt, don't feel guilty. It's a clean slate. Every meal and every day is an opportunity for a clean slate. I want to thank you very much for your time and attention. Enjoy lunch, and I wish health and bliss to all of you. Thanks.